The sponsor of this episode is Chadwell Supply, an OG in the multifamily industry. Chadwell is the largest privately owned maintenance and repair supplier, and they deliver orders the next day from local warehouses across the United States. To find out how Chadwell Supply will make your day better, visit www.chadwellsupply.com/difference.
Welcome to Decoding Multifamily, a video podcast that explores different aspects of multifamily operations and takes a deep dive into the important topics that affect the apartment industry. Watch as co-hosts Suzanne Hobson and Paul Marks engage with multifamily thought leaders, rising multifamily superstars, and apartment industry icons. Decoding is defined as the process of extracting meaningful and useful information. So watch closely as we begin Decoding Multifamily.
Well, welcome to another episode of Decoding Multifamily, powered by the Multifamily Media Network. The Multifamily Media Network is a free media platform on a mission to inspire the next generation of multifamily leaders with over 16 different podcasters who are all multifamily industry icons practicing in the industry. We bring you the latest insights, trends, and success stories from the multifamily world. Stay informed about each unique podcast and catch up on the latest episodes by visiting the multifamilymedianetwork.com. Plus, don't miss out on educational and inspiring multifamily blogs. So tune in, get inspired, and transform your multifamily journey with us. I am your co-host of Decoding Multifamily, Paul Marks. I have with me my fabulous co-host, Suzanne Hobson, and our guest. And Suzanne, why don't you introduce our guests?
Thank you, Paul. Very nice welcome. Appreciate that. And very excited today. I know I say this, I'm excited, but I'm super excited because I'm actually on location with Matthew Dooley, who I affectionately call Dooley. And I am just really excited for you to share, now that I've gotten to know you, a little bit more about how you're wired and what you're bringing to our industry. So, Dooley, why don't you go ahead and take the floor and tell us a little bit about yourself?
First of all, one, it's a pleasure to be with both of you. And Suzanne, definitely happy to have you a few doors down. So always a good time to spend with you in person. A little bit about myself. So I've been in the multifamily industry for a little over 3 years now. I come from the hospitality industry. So we see the change happening in multifamily, gearing more towards the hospitality industry, bringing in some of those insights. So that's what I'm really happy to bring with me and my experience. I was in hotels for over 10 years. Going trained with Ritz-Carlton, Marriott, Embassy Suites, the Hilton family. So definitely bringing a wealth of experience of hospitality into the multifamily industry. So very happy to be in my current location as a director of operations for Sunrise Communities. Very happy to see that we're bringing EOS and melding it with a hospitality mindset. And growing our small company. Right?
Yeah, thank you for that. And what is EOS? Just to get that out there, Dooley. We are living and breathing it, but what does it mean for our crowd?
Yeah, so it's definitely making sure that you're embodying the EOS spirit. So bringing in right people, right seats, making sure that we are staying steadfast to our goals, our vision, and kind of plotting our course of the business within the EOS model. So it's brand new to me. So definitely being able to bring not only my experience and leadership, but melding it with the EOS style has definitely been an exciting time. And I know Suzanne has been partnering with me and growing me within the EOS style. So it's something that we're really excited to raise all of our Sunrise team members with.
Yeah, I have a question that I wanted to ask, because obviously coming from the hospitality industry, I've always been told that, you know, I guess multifamily is kind of a laggard or a slowpoke when it comes to adopting new things. And traditionally, looking towards other industries like hospitality for things such as pricing and revenue management, which was all started in hospitality and travel and worked its way finally into multifamily. And my first question, really, first part of the question is to you, Suzanne. What are your feelings about how multifamily lags behind and does hospitality? And then, Matthew, if you could kind of piggyback on that and tell us a little bit about how your experience in hospitality has translated into multifamily.
Yeah, I'll start out with a positive because I do think that multifamily is opening its eyes not only to hospitality, travel, but also other industries to really look at how we operate and how we deliver, exceptional customer service and that customer experience. We're looking at lots of things, but I think that traditionally we've found the hospitality industry to be just a very close sister and an industry that we can look at, and we've mapped a lot. Quite honestly, in several ways with technology and how we book things and the speed factor and, renting sight unseen is a concept of the hospitality industry as well. So I think what's really key, and I know you've been hearing this too, Paul, and I'm sure you've been hearing it too, Julie, is that it's time to really get back to our customer and delivering that exceptional customer service, especially right now. There's a lot going on with rents and our economy and all kinds of forces and pressures, and that experience is more important than ever now. And I really see what Dooley doing with his experience and bringing that into this organization is going to do. But that's my thoughts about. But to your point, I'm going to say the bad side. So I do think we have been lagging, right? We tend to get really looking at our own bubble for solutions. But I keep swaying back to the positive. I do think we're starting to break through that. And this is a great industry to look at, hospitality. So, yeah, Julie.
Yeah, Matthew, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Suzanne's exactly correct. The hospitality industry is built on customer experience. The hospitality industry wouldn't exist without customer service, and that's the backbone, right? And it's the same with multifamily. If we're not providing that resident experience, they're less likely to renew with you, creating turnover. It just creates all sorts of problems for the multifamily industry. And you're exactly correct, Suzanne. It has been lagging behind a bit, especially in the technology area. Hospitality, you have to stay on the cutting edge of technology. One, it moves so much quicker, and two, you have so much competition that is also moving forward at that rapid pace. So if you're not staying up on the trends with technology, if you're not doing the keyless entry, if you're not doing, the mobile check-in, that kind of items, you're going to be left in the dust. And that's when you get acquired, you lose your business, that kind of stuff. So hospitality has paved that excessive speed in the technology industry. And I think multifamily is just now getting into that. There's a lot of companies that may be that old dog, new tricks kind of thing. So it's a little harder to move some of those that, well, this has worked for us. Why are we changing? Well, it's always been said the worst statement in business is, well, that's how we've always done it, right? So I definitely see changes in the multifamily industry, even though I'm a little on the newer side to the industry, seeing how much they are actually, it's starting to click that you need to keep up with the trends. You need to keep up with technology, because with newer product that comes on board, they're going to have all the bells and whistles. How are you going to keep up with those items? So it's exciting to see all the new technology coming on board, with AI being introduced so heavily into whether it be the leasing process, customer experience process, I think we're starting to see as an industry that it is time to change, and we're starting to make the first strides there.
I love it. I know we talk about this all the time because it's exciting and it has to do with the customer experience. But I'd love for you to share some of your experience in the hospitality industry when it comes to the details. There's been a lot of conversation about the devil's in the details, and we need to refocus and look at, our curb appeal, our product in a different way that maybe we have. And I know that's a big center point of hospitality and that experience that, has nothing to do with the sale itself, but it really does. Just, what are they experiencing when they first land? And so can you tell us a little bit about how you did that in hospitality and how you're bringing that into property management, maybe a little bit differently?
Of course. So in the hospitality industry, you always have to, as an owner, operator, manager, even the front desk, you have to put on your goggles of what is the guest seeing? How are they experiencing? If we can't do that, then we're just going, business as usual. So it's always a challenge to make sure that your entire team is seeing things through the lens of your guest. So if they see, trash that may be, just sitting there for 10 minutes, you might not think it's a big deal, but they might see it as this place is dirty, right? So this is something that we always encouraged in the hospitality industry, that if you see someone even carrying trash, we offer to take it from them. Let's be the resolution for them that they didn't even know they needed. To them, they could have found a trash can, but if we're thinking ahead, this is where customer service goes above and beyond, making sure that we're anticipating the needs of the guest. So bringing that into multifamily, right? So curb appeal, it's a huge topic right now, right? So before the yesteryears, multifamily, we show up, we lease, we forget about them till they renew. That's often people's experience. Not anymore. Right. So we're trying to bring that hospitality feel, the truly at your service feel to a resident experience, because you know what? We found that renewals are a lot more precious than a turnover. Turnovers cost money. It costs money in marketing. It's not just painting the unit. You have to market it. It's very expensive. So why not try to keep? So by providing this customer experience, by anticipating their needs, making sure that curb appeal, that they're actually proud to live where they're currently renting is definitely crucial. So painting the sidewalks, or the curbs, painting even that fire hydrant that you hope you never have to use, right? So making sure that the smallest details, a branch, just because you're outdoors and sometimes branches fall from a tree, doesn't mean we don't go pick that branch up, because even a prospect seeing that curb appeal might think this is an unkept community. So you could potentially lose a renter just on how curb appeal looks. So it's going into the granular details, making sure that when a new unit is painted, making sure that there's no scuffs or someone didn't open a door too soon where the paint peels off. We might not think it's a big deal. The resident might not think it's a big deal, but it's up to us as leaders to make it a big deal, because it could be the difference of that prospect renting or not renting. So it's a very costly mistake.
Yeah, no, I love that. And, I think that there's a lot of, again, like I was saying, focus on the details, because we've had this this moment of introspection where we've been able to get our house in order during this down period where there hasn't been a lot of transaction, at least in the Midwest area. And so people are really shoring up their processes. They're really looking at, the details of what we're doing, and so are our prospects. I just did a presentation yesterday in Detroit, and we had some statistics on, how our prospect is choosing us. And Paul, this will sound familiar too. They're not looking at 8 apartments anymore. They're looking at 2. So even how they see us online and the level of detail that we're showing in just our face in our marketing, front and center. And, I'm talking about the small businesses as well, because they're having to spend, large amounts of money in marketing to promote the properties. And so, like you said, every prospect is very precious. And so how we look, front facing is so important. And you said something else that I thought was really important, and it reminded me of when I was on site, which was a really long time ago. But on site, when I would go out and I would show an apartment, and I'd say goodbye to the prospect, and I would just be ticking in my mind all the things that I saw: the bug in the corner, the trash over to the left, just needing it to be swept, and all those little details. Just being able to do that and train to that and have a whole team do that can be really powerful. I know you know this, Dooley, and I think I might have told you, Paul, but I recently went to Arizona and I had the opportunity to stay at a Ritz-Carlton. I don't know how we got this place, because I basically got it sight unseen at a really great deal. I think it's because it's so hot in Arizona. That's why we got a good deal. But anyway, it was my first experience with the Ritz-Carlton, and I was blown away by just the one extra thing that people would do. They study the guest before they even get there. They know their name, and not just the person at the desk. Everybody knows your name. And I don't know if they've got like little, headphones and microphones and they're talking to each other. My husband and I had this whole theory. You have that experience. And so I think about, like, how could we really do that in multifamily, and what kind of difference would that make? And so I'm sure you've got lots of ideas that you're still gonna be implementing in your new role here. But yeah, really cool. So, Dooley, why don't we go back and just figure out and tell the crowd how you even got into multifamily? Like, what had you make the switch?
COVID kind of ruined a few people's plans. I think some people might relate. Being in the hospitality industry during COVID times was obviously quite a different experience, which, I think a lot of those that have been in the hospitality industry for quite some time, dating all the way back to 08, 09, we've seen hospitality take that roller coaster, and it's going to continue doing that roller coaster. Multifamily is a little more steady, I feel. Plus, it can be recession proof. Everyone needs somewhere to live. So just knowing that. Plus, I had a really good friend that was needing some assistance, and we had worked before together at a Marriott in Cincinnati, Ohio. So she just kind of out of the blue was like, "Hey, you should come up, be back in my life again." Because at the time I was living in Atlanta, Georgia, and she's up here in Michigan, and she's like, "Come back, I want you back. I know you can do this. It's really simple." So then I was a property manager for a couple of months, and then became a director with the company, and kind of the rest is history. And it was a very good experience, quick learning. They may be sisters, but as sisters know, they can be completely opposite at times too. So that's just kind of the sibling rivalry there. Yeah, so really COVID is what prompted the change there.
Chadwell Supply is the proud sponsor of the Multifamily Media Network. Chadwell Supply is the largest privately owned MRO supply company and is committed to the multifamily industry. They deliver orders the next day from local warehouses across the United States. Chadwell Supply offers valuable resources such as maintenance training, a dedicated renovations team, and procurement platform assistance, ensuring multifamily properties operate more efficiently. Partnering with Chadwell Supply helps communities stand out in an increasingly competitive market. Learn more at chadwellsupply.com/difference.
we're happy you made the change. I'm sure that was a tumultuous time, but you did have so much parallel experience. It makes sense. We often ask the question, and I would say 9 times out of 10, people are like, "Ah, I just fell into it. I
Yeah.
needed, I was living at this apartment community and they asked me to be a leasing consultant, or, they just fall into it one way or the other." And so it's always interesting to find out how people have come into our industry. I know you're relatively new, but I also know how wicked smart you are and how much information you're taking in on what's happening and trending in our industry. What are you seeing as being some of the challenges right now? For us as an industry, and maybe what's up for us in the next several months as a challenge.
There's a few that we can choose from, but one of the biggest ones is interest rates, trying to scale. There's not a lot of opportunity right now to be able to purchase assets, grow the business. It's something that the interest rates are coming down, but are they coming down quick enough? So just being able to weather that financial things that are kind of out of your control. So that seems to be one of the biggest issues that I know a lot of companies are currently facing, the fluctuating interest rates and being able to handle that additional debt to your communities. Unfortunately, I know far too many that have had to fold or at least scale back because of this. But we do know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Things are improving. So I like to focus on those positives. We know that we've had a few, 2 years maybe that had this kind of downtrend here, but things are correcting, and can't wait to continue growing the business of Sunrise Communities and getting out there, getting our name out there. And that seems to be one of the issues. Another issue would be, sometimes people are stuck in their ways. So again, just, moving forward at a pace instead of crawling. Sometimes we need to pick up that pace, and it's exciting again to see so many embracing some of the new technologies. And I'm really excited for our renters to see some of these changes that are happening. And, knowing that even though we have AI and, virtual reality and everything coming around, that we're still not going to lose that personal touch. That we're not going to lose our sister in the hospitality industry. So we're bringing her right along with us. So excited to meld the two.
Yeah, I know that we've talked about this, and again, Paul and I talked about this too. And it's really a self-reflection on how, I was all in for just 100% remote sales at one point, and how, people change and the trend changes and our customer changes with our times. And yeah, that might have been appropriate with COVID and it was okay. But I'm really sensing that people want the face-to-face interaction more than we probably think they do. Another stat that I dug into, and this was from NAA, they said that, over 70% still want to have a face-to-face interaction, but 65% are open to a self-guided tour. So this whole blending of how people experience us in the apartment industry it's still evolving. And I think it's a science to a certain extent. It depends on, who your demographic is, like who you're bringing in and how they want to interact with you. Someone brought up in the crowd yesterday, they're like, look, my residents don't want to use the technology. They've been living with us for a really long time. We don't have any turnover. They've been living here for 15 years. If we start introducing new technology, they're not going to be happy about it. And so there's all of that consideration. But yeah, I think it is exciting times because we're seeing the efficiencies of some of this technology internally and the centralization and some of the things that we're doing as a whole. Those are really exciting times. People are coming up with some great ideas about, still, like we haven't figured it all out yet. And it's been a few years of just kind of poking it. Yeah. So I know you, again, you say you've only been in for 3 years, but I know you're gathering up a lot of info. How do you see centralization really helping to propel us forward from your fresh perspective?
Innovation will take a lot of the activities and responsibilities that maybe our property managers are bogged down with. So it allows actually a lot more time to be more customer focused, resident focused. It allows them to actually have that personal connection with them, something that we always tout that we need. When we have that personal connection, they're more likely to renew. And then suddenly, your owner operating statements start to make sense, right? Centralization is something that can alleviate some of the, red tape that our on-site associates have to go through, just freeing them up from a delinquency, just scheduling delinquency meetings or calls. Someone that can do that centralized can do it for multiple properties, and it becomes more cost effective. You're not only dealing with your delinquency issue, but you're also dealing with the efficiency issue. Sometimes we can't get those 7 days out on the seventh day, right? So, but a centralized process can be able to do that. That's what they're there for. Taking care of that back office stuff allows the on-site team members to actually perform the job that we expect them to. Gone are the days that you're okay with a review of a 4. Right? If we break it down, a 4 out of 5, that's a B. Why would we ever be okay with a B? We want that A. So by removing some of the items that they have to spend hours on, allows them to be able to make that difference from that 4 to a 5. And when we break it down like that, centralization makes all the sense in the world at that point. Being able to fix that efficiency problem helps kind of the dominoes set up for the rest of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, it's really customized, don't you think? Like every, I don't know, I've been talking to a lot of companies and they are all doing it in some way, shape or form, but they're all doing it differently, which
Right.
is kind of the cool thing too. And people are testing some things, and it's just really, you're right. It's really exciting times for that. And yes, the efficiencies, and I've just found that your resident, interaction, if it can be more positive and less confrontational too, it's been on everybody's minds because there's been just a lot of conflict with people. They're a little bit angrier, have a little higher expectations. And so our on-site people are dealing with heightened emotions with residents, I think, more so than they have been. So having positive experiences with our frontline people it helps a bigger problem too.
What's also really exciting is you kind of, touched on that people are a little more on edge nowadays. They get a little angrier quicker, but you know what? That's exciting, actually. It gives us more opportunity to be able to fix things for them, right? So no one remembers all the things you've been nice about or been good about. They remember the bad parts, right? But it's how we recover from it. That's what they're really, right? So with everyone being a little more on edge, it gives us more opportunity to be 5 stars, right? So everyone likes to say, oh, someone's coming in and complaining about something. You know what? That just give us another opportunity to turn around, right? I love to have people complain to me. It gives me a sense of, hey, I can fix that for you. I can fix something. So if we change our mindset to realize that, hey, complaints are actually a good thing. Now, if we obviously want to limit what the complaint may be where it's not our fault. Things are going to break. Everyone realizes that, but that gives us the opportunity. But let's not create issues so we can fix them. But yeah, so having people complain, having our residents complain, one, they feel comfortable with us because now we're spending more time with them. We have the personal connection with them. Now we have the ability to fix whatever they need. It's a win-win.
I've got a question about that because, obviously if the customer or the resident is complaining to you, you have that opportunity. But how do you handle online reviews that are maybe negative reviews? What's your theory on that?
Of course. So one, you need to get to the root of the issue. So why are they complaining online and not to me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Maybe that personal connection is missing. So making sure that we're not just responding to the review, but to also the person. So when we're responding to the person, invite them in, have a conversation with me. I will go to residents' apartments whenever they complain about an issue. I want to put my eyes on it to see, sometimes we like to, just say some negative reviews. They're just complaining about nothing. It never actually happened. Sometimes they do, and it's quite eye-opening. So by offering yourself to, hey, let me go actually inspect it, let me go meet with you, it changes their mind. We've had several reviews before in my past that have overturned their review because of how we responded to it. Sometimes people aren't always going to tell you everything, even if you have that personal connection. Some people don't like confrontation face to face, but when you come at these reviews in a correct way, where we're not taking it personally, like as a slight against us, but rather an opportunity to correct something, I think people are more willing to give you a little leeway with it. And then before you know it, they're going to actually come to you before going to Google.
Yeah, and as a follow-up to that, how do you monitor your online reviews? Are you monitoring them internally, or are you having a third-party company that does some of that for you?
Yeah, so with my experience, we've kind of had both. Here currently, we monitor them in-house, but I've used Satisfax before that gathers everything together. It's really nice when it alerts you, hey, a 3-star review came in, making sure that you're responding to them. It tracks how quickly you respond to them. That's the other thing, is making sure we're getting it in real time. I don't want to wait a month to be responded to if I'm reviewing something. So we have to respond in a 24-hour time frame. So we get them right then and there, and it's still fresh, and we have opportunity to fix it. But yeah, so I prefer, to have that kind of a dual approach there. You can never just give it up to a third party to review for yourself.
Right.
It's always wise as the operator to have a mix of both.
Yeah, that's great. Suzanne, we've got about 5 minutes left.
Awesome. Well, okay. I've got a couple more questions. So we talked about challenges. One of the things that I'm always curious about for our guests, and them in particular personally, is what kind of advice they would give to new leaders coming into our space. And it can come from, Dooley, an experience you've had, or, one of those, I call it road rash moments where, you went, yeah, if I could just tell somebody else not to do that or to do more of this instead of that, what would that be for you? And it doesn't have to be one thing. It could be a couple things, but I'm just curious.
Yeah. One of the biggest things as a leader that I have grown to understand is be open to criticism. Be open to the fact that there's people with more experience than you. So they may be criticizing you, what you did, but they're not criticizing you specifically. You can't take criticism personally. It's actually an area of opportunity to grow. Now, making sure that it's constructive criticism is good. But yeah, as a leader, being open to that and being open to change and asking the questions. You and I have gone through radical candor. So this is something that you really have to make sure that when you're giving feedback, that, it's open and honest, but you're making sure that you're in the right quadrant, right? So radical candor, get the book. So it's when you're able to receive criticism, receive feedback, you're able to give it correctly as well. So, you're not going to be hurting someone's feelings. It's giving them the opportunity to grow as a leader.
Yeah, I love that. Especially if you tell them that that's what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that really helps. I just listened to a podcast and they were talking about that. Not only just, about the delivery, but setting up the relationship correctly from the beginning and just saying, look, I want you to grow in your position and I want us to set this up correctly. So you're going to hear feedback from me on a regular basis. And I welcome feedback from you as well. And I think that really helps too to set it up, because we all know when we've been caught off guard, right? Where, whoa, didn't see that. So I'm doing that. You think I'm doing that incorrectly or whatever. And you feel like, wow, what's the motive behind it? If someone knows that you're doing it on behalf of them from the get-go, I think that really helps. Good podcast. Yeah. So I appreciate that. Yeah.
We have time for one more quick question and then we'll need to close it out.
So the last question, if you could do anything different with the current trends that you're seeing, I know there's examples of customer service that we talked about before. We've been playing around with a lot of different ways, and companies are doing this with pricing because there's just a lot going on in that arena right now. Where do you think your focus is going to be in 2025? Where do you see yourself really zeroing in and saying, this is something I'm going to really be focused on to change the course of the business?
Yeah, so I think the vision for over the next year is, one, we all need to make sure that our policies and procedures are ready and prepared for this new technology, to the new environment of multifamily. So I feel like everyone's focus should be on the basics, right? So we have to be able to adapt the way we were doing things to the new things we're embracing. So making sure we have the fundamentals down correctly is definitely crucial. So I feel everyone's focus should be lasered in right there.
Yeah. Love it. I think you actually said the other day, you were like, yeah, we can't do that until we can do this really well. Yeah. Otherwise that won't work either.
A good foundation.
Yeah.
So Matthew, if someone wants to reach out to you in our audience and bend your ear a little bit, talk to you a little bit about some ideas, how can they do that?
Yeah, so I can always be reached on LinkedIn, Matthew Dooley. So you can reach me there, or you can reach me currently. I'm at mdooley@gosunrise.com. I would encourage you to check out gosunrise.com and see how fast we're growing. So yeah, very excited.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Suzanne. Thank you again for being such a great co-host of Decoding Multifamily. We're going to be back again with another episode of Decoding Multifamily very soon, but you can check out not only Decoding Multifamily, but all the other great podcasts on the platform at multifamilymedianetwork.com. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Decoding Multifamily video podcast, and please tune in to future episodes. If you would like to subscribe to our weekly newsletter or discuss being a podcast guest on Decoding Multifamily, please go to multifamilymedianetwork.com. Thank you for watching Decoding Multifamily.
Thank you again to Chadwell Supply for sponsoring this episode. Chadwell Supply delivers unforgettable service with next-day delivery, online and in-person maintenance training, and procurement platform assistance to make ordering simpler. Visit www.chadwellsupply.com/difference to learn how Chadwell Supply will make your day